Well, we've learned that fire is good, and I'm just going to present a technique for getting all that burning done, and that's through forming a partnership. The partnership that's located around here is called Interagency Prescribed Burn Partnership. The members include the Minnesota DNR, divisions of wildlife, parks, and forestry, and some help with enforcement for traffic. The U.S. Forest Service, Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, Division of Resource Management, and Itasca County Land Departments, the Nature Conservancy, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Minix and MIFC offer technical and equipment support and aerial operations, and private landowners. Basically, anyone who contributes to the partnership is considered a member, and even if that involves just giving permission to burn their lands. So it's evolved and grown over time. We meet annually to plan burns and to set up priorities and to work out scheduling and things like that. Our partnership area basically covers the area in the circle here, roughly, centered around the Chippewa National Forest. Far west is the Bemidji area, where we've helped with some state park burns. And as far south is Park Rapids, where some prairie burns take place, but it's kind of centered around the Chippewa National Forest. Started in 1990, with 26 years of working across boundaries, and there's many people here involved in the partnership. Could you stand up quickly right now if you have anything to do with the partnership or participated in a partnership burn or anything like that? There we go, there's quite a few people here. Well, that's the problem. There are so many people involved in this partnership since it started that I couldn't put all the names down. But I had to put down two key names because I was in fear of missing somebody. But I put down these two names, Don Pierce, retired, Kelly Barrett, who's here, as two key individuals that started the partnership back in 1990. And so we owe a lot to them to get this ball rolling. It started because they wanted to burn large open wet meadows for wildlife habitat. We want to keep these wet meadows in an open state. It's a community that's very valuable to wildlife. It was originally started to burn these for ringneck duck nesting habitat, but since then we know that over 70 different species use this open wet community, meadows community as habitat, so we're benefiting a lot of species. This one here is the mud goose salt burn, it's 2,500 acres. And we burn these meadows to set back shrubs, woody invasion, reduce thatch buildup, and increase plant diversity. And this is a picture of Don Pierce back in the 1990s. And pollinators are in the news lately, and we know that bees really like these burns after we're done with them. This is really a cool map here that made by Mike Rice, and it kind of shows you what this partnership is all about. And that's a landscape level project across many ownerships. I mean, look at all the ownerships of this prescribed burn, Boy River. It has 5 different ownerships, and you just cannot do this alone, burn these areas without a partnership. So we have the cooperation of all these landowners coming together, giving their permission to pull off these big wet meadow burns. And we burn about 1,000 to 3,500 acres of open wet meadows every year. This is another mud goose burn. These are spectacular photos that Mike Rice took. But we also, the partnership does moving more into forest pine underburns. And most of these are smaller burns, and they're done by the agencies themselves, most of them without partnership help, but they're free to request partnership help at any time that they need it. And we do help each other out with these forest burns also. We do about 350 acres burned per year. And we're moving more and more into upland burns to promote oak, because we're learning that's important. And the Forest Service did most of these 450 acres this year by burning Oak Point on Leech Lake, and the DNR has done several too, and I'm sure Parks does this quite often. Down in the Park Rapids area, we're burning prairie, upland grass, and oak savanna. It's hard to put a number on this, 300 acres, but some burns are over 1,500 acres. Smaller burns are 200, so I just picked a 300-acre number out of the air. Here's what's neat about the partnership. It pools and shares its resources at no charge to each other. We don't send bills back and forth. Nobody gets an invoice charging you for one thing or another, and it's all kind of shared. We all come together. The labor often is used as training exercises for people to get their tickets punched for firefighter positions, the equipment certification experience. These meadow burns are done first thing in the spring, so everyone is available too. But that's what's cool about the partnership. And the other cool thing is that each agency has its own specialized equipment. The DNR kind of specializes in these swamp things, these marsh masters and wheeled vehicles, where the Forest Service might not have many of those. Forest Service might have more heavy-duty equipment, type 6 engines and things. So we all bring our equipment to these burns, and we're able to pull off these burns without each of us having all these specialized equipment. Partnership also, some agencies have specialized equipment for fire break work. The DNR has a dozer and access to a CTL, so we can help the burns put in fire breaks if there's anything needed ahead of time. Money, about the only money that kind of exchanges hands or that we share or pool money, and that's for aerial operations. These large wetland meadow burns are usually done with aerial operations, and we'll kind of pool our money together to pay for aerial operations. The upland burning doesn't need aerial support. That aerial ignition costs about $6,000 for one of those large wet meadow burns. Of course, like every successful partnership and burning with the government, we need our appropriate paperwork. And people ask, how can you all burn together under different supervisions and things? And it's regarding these documents here. And a little time is put up front to complete these documents, but once they're in place, it works smoothly. The biggest one is this MNIX cooperative agreement, commitment of agencies to improve efficiency by facilitating the coordination and exchange of personnel, equipment, supplies, services, and funds. So it basically says what it says there, means what it says, is we can help each other out. Fire project agreements enable the DNR to burn federal lands. Grants of permission are the DNR form to let us burn lands not administered by the DNR. Joint power agreements are used by the DNR to burn county lands. And burn plans are kind of, if it's a partnership burn, are exchanged between partners. So we can review the burn plans and work out the responsibilities when we come together for these burns. And it's a really good technique that way. We can offer suggestions. Even though we meet only once a year annually, there's a lot of email exchanging going on through the year to kind of coordinate these things. Recon flights and snowmobile trips and fire break planning and things like that. So I kind of went kind of fast there, but that's basically the partnership of what we do, and I recommend forming those partnerships in your area to get these burns done. That's all I have.